My name is Sky Streety, author of You're Not Just Another Face in the Crowd. I hope you had a chance to watch my introduction that I posted recently, and today I'd like to read chapters 1 through 3 to you. I hope they inspire you in some way and you have some great takeaways from these. Let's start, shall we? Chapter 1, The Wizard of Oz, A-W-E-S. But first, a quote from actually the movie The Wizard of Oz with an O-Z. Everything you were looking for was right there with you all along. Remember that. I imagine most of you by now have seen the 1939 movie classic, The Wizard of Oz, and if you haven't, please do yourself a favor and drop this book immediately and go watch it. A, because it's terrific, and B, what I'm about to say won't make any sense if you've not seen the movie. I first saw it as a boy, and I've got to tell you, frankly, it scared me. That scary green witch sent me scurrying behind my mom's chair. I'm pretty sure I saw it at least a half a dozen times before I realized all their characters in Dorothy's dream were part of our community and family, and that the wizard behind the curtain granting wishes was just an ordinary soul who happened to provide words of encouragement that tipped the scale of the lives of Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and you remember the lion. Before he was exposed as the Wizard of Oz, he held extraordinary power over his kingdom, and when he spoke, people had fear and respect. Once they saw him for who he was behind the curtain, that fear shrank, and he became quite ordinary. Well, perhaps you've never thought about it, but there is another wizard. I like to refer to him as the Wizard of Oz, A-W-E-S. You've probably guessed it. That wizard is God, the Creator. Everything you see before you, mountains, rivers, oceans, stars, planets, animals, people, snow, lightning, God created it all. Consider this. The Earth is spinning on its axis at 1,000 miles per hour. Now add to that the fact that the Earth is circling around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. Gulp. Oh, and then take into account that it takes a little over 365 days for the Earth to accomplish that feat at 67,000 miles per hour. And the cherry on the top, our solar system is traveling at about 600,000 miles per hour within the Milky Way galaxy. All the while, you have no sense of dizziness or that you are walking with your hair on fire. Why? Because of the wizard, God. You see, he is a wonderfully loving wild man. He does not play by the rules because he makes the rules. Whatever you have seen in your life that have left you awestruck, a whale soaring up out of the ocean depths, aurora borealis, shooting stars, the Grand Canyon, your child's first words, the list goes on and on. All of these came from the finger of God, the great Wizard of Oz. As you continue reading, you will see story after story of his ultimate and intimate touch upon the lives of people just like you and me. As my friend Squire Rushnell says, these are Godwinks. An event or personal experience often identified as coincidence, so astonishing that it could only have come from divine origin. That's the definition of a Godwink. So close your eyes, quiet yourself, and breathe slowly. Now, as best as you can, turn off all the noise around you. And think back to a time in your life where you saw or heard something that simply amazed you. Imagine, if you will, that there is a great conductor who prepared and arranged that moment just for you. God was and is that conductor. You may find it hard to fathom, but you are simply that important to him. And he wants to show you his great love in so many ways. We just need to open our eyes and ears to see and hear. Stay tuned. He's working on the next performance even now, and it's just for you. You are worthy, our Lord and God, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they were created and have their being. That's what it says in the Bible from Revelation 4:11. So here's your assignment, and I'll give you those from time to time when you're reading this book. Take a few minutes to jot down some time or times in your life when you saw or heard something that amazed you. In what ways or way did this move you? What about it seemed uniquely just for you? Did you feel in any way connected to the Creator? If so, how and why? And now, chapter 2. In the beginning. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. That's from Mother Teresa. I was born a chubby little baby, likely in the middle of the night, since all babies are born when no one is awake, including the parents-to-be. This earth-shattering event occurred in Gonzales, Texas, a small town about 55 miles southeast of Austin, Texas, affectionately known by all my friends as the ATX. If you've never been to the Austin area, you'll quickly find out that's what they call it, the ATX, all caps. I know. You're pretty incredibly curious to know how I got the name Sky. I was named after the famous television pilot Sky King. Contrary to what some of you may have already probably been thinking, that being that my parents were hippies, well, most of you will not know who Sky King is, so hit Google and check him out. However, if it makes the book any more interesting, you are welcome to say my parents were hippies. That's okay. Sorry, Dickie and Don, and that's my parents, Dickie, Don, and Dot. They were not hippies, but I'm sure if this book makes them famous as hippies, they will gladly acknowledge that they are. Without giving away my age, although, I can imagine you can find it somewhere on the web. This was back before it was fashionable for the father to spend any part of labor with the expectant mother. Back in the day, the dad just showed up in time to be congratulated by everyone as though he had done something spectacular, and then started handing out stuff like Bob Barker on The Price is Right. Some of you may know Gonzales as the home of the most notable quote from the 1830s, "Come and take it," which is exactly what my dad said when the nurses in the hospital let him hold me for the first time. But it did get better. You see, it was the kindness of the Lord that brought skilled nurses and doctors to the hospital to deliver me into this incredible world that God created. And thank you, God, for that awesome craftsmanship, which is better than a Lexus car. Here's what he says in Psalm 139. For you have created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know them, and that full well. Psalm 139. So here's your assignment from chapter 2. Look back at the quote at the beginning of this chapter from Mother Teresa. There's only one of you on the planet, which means your unique qualities cast unique ripples. Take some time to recall some of the ripples you've created over the past year and what ripples you want to create over the next 12 months. Write those down and see what happens when you create the intention to see those through. And now chapter 3, which is titled, Here's Your Assignment. Oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite quotes of all time, and it's from Leonardo da Vinci. It has long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. David was a unique young man, but not in the way you might describe most preteens today. Here's a sampling of his not-so-average talent set. Number 1, he knew how to play the lyre or lyre. Don't ask me what this is. Ask Wikipedia. A stringed instrument similar to a harp. I've never owned one. I've never played one. Number 2, he was a brave man and a warrior. Translation, man of valor. And number 3, he spoke really well. And lastly, 4, the best, he seized both lion and bear by its hair, struck it, and killed it while tending sheep. What you read and what I just said is no misprint. When is the last time you had a friend like that? Okay, I realize most of you are hardly handy with the lyre or lyre, but who can raise their hand to the lion or the bear? Did you catch that? David is not yet a teen when given this description, and yet he is referred to as a man. I suppose it makes sense to refer to any young fellow that has killed both lion and bear before the age of 13 as a man. And the story only gets better from here. This is where the assignment comes in for this young man. You might say he slipped into his destiny at this moment. David's countrymen were having some real problems with a group of folks called the Philistines. Maybe you've heard of them. Not to worry if you haven't. These guys were not very nice, and they happened to have a particularly grumpy dude on their side named Goliath. His name fits him pretty well, all 9 feet of him. He was making threats and picking fights with all of David's elders, laughing at them and creating quite a scene. Ordinarily, when you have this kind of problem, you send in a SWAT team. But nobody wanted any part of Goliath. Now, David took great offense to the insults Goliath was spouting off, and he asked permission to teach this guy a lesson. And I don't mean a lesson with the leer. Most thought he was out of his mind and completely out of line to suggest a boy fight a giant. Here's the thing. When you have spent your life preparing for your assignment and then understand what your assignment is, you are able to complete the assignment. Now, up to bat for the Israelites, number 1, David, son of Jesse. So he trotted David out to face Goliath, the behemoth. Any one of David's elders, had they not been afraid, would have challenged Goliath, throwing the finest armor and sword of that day. David came armed with only a slingshot and 5 smooth stones. But he would need only one. As Goliath giggled at the approaching boy, David stepped into his destiny, fully aware of his assignment. With one confident and accurate shot, Goliath was struck in the forehead with a stone and fell to the ground, completely knocked unconscious. David then wasted no time using the same skill and experience he used to kill both the lion and the bear. He cut Goliath's head off and raised it into the air to the delight of his fellow countrymen and to the utter shock and dismay of the Philistines. And so it was, David was the man. He was the first the man. So what is your assignment? You see, you too are unique, just like David. You have an assignment in life uniquely yours. Are you preparing, or are you prepared for it? Will you take it on in full stride as David did, or shrink in fear as many of his elders did? Let me encourage you to enjoy the assignment that is for you. You are the only one who can carry it out. The world is waiting for you to do it, and the world needs you to do it. The story you just read is found in the Bible if you want to read it and check it out. It's in 1 Samuel chapter 16 and 17, which is in the Old Testament. Now you are inspired, and now you know what to do.